But I want to drill down with this, Scott, with you, and we're going to get to the crime numbers in a minute that Sean was talking about. But inflation remains the biggest issue for Americans by a wide margin, 54%. Crime comes in second place at 19%. Two-part question. One, inflation is sort of the proxy for how I feel about the economy, right, and how I feel about my own purchasing power and the like. But I'm wondering if there's part of that 65% wrong track that are Democrats who don't necessarily disapprove of President Biden or think the country's on the wrong track because of him, but think the country's on the wrong track because he's not doing enough. There's not enough of Bidenomics.
So that would be a good follow-up question, right? Maybe it has nothing to do with Bidenomics. It has everything to do with Supreme Court, student debt. These are important questions. They don't necessarily affect all Americans, but they affect large swath of Americans, and certainly a lot of Democrats who can say, look, I like the president, but I don't think he's doing enough on Roe versus Wade in the Supreme Court, or whether it be in student loan and student debts.
Yeah, and I think because you're seeing the economy rise as this very clear top issue, I'm seeing chatter on Twitter, which is obviously not a real place, that Republicans...
I think it's X now, right?
Oh, sorry.
Twitter is actually not a real place anymore.
That Republicans need to kind of end their culture war and run on economic issues. And I just don't feel that in my soul yet, especially when I look at Governor Youngkin's recent win, where people still were pissed that their schools had shut down. They didn't like mask policies. Like, there was a freedom. There was a culture element to it. CRT in schools, that type of thing. And I'm scared that people are going to get the wrong message that Americans are over that.
But do you think that was sort of a symptom of COVID? Because you look at someone like Ron DeSantis, who his campaign's gotten criticism for maybe focusing too much on the cultural issues. Do you think maybe that calculus has changed since 2021 a bit?
I guess memories are short, and so we forgot what it was like to have a government take over. But I still just think at the end of the day, moms care about their kids. And we do care about the economy, but you're going to want a fighter out there who cares about your culture.
Yeah, I think both parties have a lot of work to do in this particular area. The Dems just happen to be in the White House. But the messaging and connecting with the voters and making those statistics connect with how people feel. Maybe we've got to do more work to get better numbers, but the reality of the matter is our messaging out of the White House has got to be stronger and broader so that there's that connection.
Okay, so how you feel, though, better or worse financially compared to a year ago? 41% said they were feeling worse. Scott, does that mean 59% say they're feeling better? No.
It's either, some of it better, but I'm going to go back. My favorite stat you brought up in the first part of the block, people have, on average, $13,000 less. The vast majority of people who vote in America have a household income of between $40,000 and $100,000 a year. So that's a family of four. That's their income they make. If they have $13,000 less, that's less going to restaurants. That's certainly not going on summer vacations. That's not buying a new car. That's having trouble making ends meet. And then that's how they calculate, or it falls down to right track, wrong track. And that's the kind of message I think we're going into next year. If that's the case, if people have less money, they're going to look for someone who's going to tell them, I'm going to make your economics better.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.